Every time you freeze in an English conversation, it is not because you lack vocabulary. It is actually because you are trying to use too many words. For years, trying to sound advanced secretly destroyed my fluency. Today, I am exposing the massive lie that will change how you speak forever. I want to tell you a painful secret today. For years, I was completely wrong about what it means to be fluent. I spent countless hours lying to myself, walking down a dead-end road, feeling more and more frustrated every single day. I thought I knew the secret to sounding perfectly fluent, but the truth is, the very thing I was doing to improve my English was actually destroying my ability to speak it. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Glaze English. I am Din. Before I reveal exactly what this massive mistake was and how fixing it can instantly unlock your speaking confidence, please take a second to subscribe to the channel. Your support gives me the absolute motivation to keep making these deep, honest videos for you. So, what was my huge mistake? I was caught in the great vocabulary trap. Like so many of you, I used to carry around a thick notebook. I would fill its pages with the longest, most complicated academic words I could find. I genuinely believed that good English meant using big words. I was convinced that if I wanted people to respect me, I had to force myself to say utilize instead of use. I had to say commence instead of start. I had to say purchase instead of buy. I thought that to sound advanced, I had to sound complicated. But then I had a sudden, shocking realization. I started actually listening to native speakers having real conversations. And it hit me hard. They do not speak like textbooks. They do not use those massive words in their daily lives. In fact, they do the exact opposite. Today, we are going to explore a truth that sounds entirely backward. I am going to show you how to speak significantly more English by using significantly fewer words. We are going to unlearn the heavy, mechanical English we were taught in school. Stick with me until the very end, because once you discover the natural rhythm of everyday speech, your fear of speaking will completely disappear. To understand why we must abandon this heavy, mechanical way of speaking, we first need to look at what actually happens inside our heads when we try to communicate. Have you ever been right in the middle of a conversation, looking the other person in the eyes, and suddenly your mind just goes completely blank? You know exactly what you want to say in your native language. The idea is right there in your head, but the English words simply will not come out. I have been there so many times, standing in silence while I panicked inside. I used to think this freeze happened because I lacked vocabulary. I thought my memory was failing me. But that was not the problem. I was freezing because I was playing a terrible game against my own mind. I was frantically searching the deep files of my brain for the perfect, most complicated word to impress the person listening. This is the illusion of advanced English. We are taught that complex words make us look smarter. But the human brain is built for speed, not for processing heavy, rare vocabulary in real-time conversation. Your brain loves simplicity. It loves speed and familiar patterns. When you force your mind to pause and dig up a rare word, you create intense cognitive friction. You break your own flow. You are choosing the false beauty of a big word over the speed of actual communication. This friction leads to sentences that sound like textbooks, not real life. Imagine trying to express that you have been working hard and need to stop. A learner might build a perfectly grammatical sentence like, "I am very exhausted and require some rest." It is technically flawless, but it sounds heavy and robotic. Now, listen to how a native speaker expresses it. "I am tired. I need a break." The meaning is identical, but the second version breathes. It is fast and clear. Most importantly, it sounds human. Real fluency is not about sounding academic. It is about sounding human. And that requires the cognitive discipline to let go of absolute perfection. Once I finally let go of the need to sound like an academic dictionary, I started noticing the real foundation of human communication. I realized there is a hidden, powerful engine driving almost every natural English conversation you will ever hear. It is not made of thousands of rare vocabulary words that take months to memorize. Instead, it is built on a tiny group of incredibly flexible verbs. I am talking about words like get, make, take, go, and come. For years, I completely ignored them. I looked right past them because I thought they were too basic, too elementary for a serious language learner who wanted to be respected. I thought they were only for beginners. But that was my absolute biggest misunderstanding. Let me show you what I mean by looking at the verb get. It is arguably the ultimate chameleon of the English language. Imagine you want to express that you finally understand a difficult idea. A learner might try to build a heavy sentence and say, "I comprehend the situation." It feels stiff and unnatural. But a native speaker looks at you and simply says, "I get it." It is sharp, fast, and immediate. If you receive an email, you do not need to say, "I received your message." You just say, "I got your message." If your emotional state changes, you do not say, "I became very angry." You just say, "I got angry. I got tired. I got confused." Instead of juggling 4 separate, heavy verbs for understand, receive, become, and prepare, native speakers just rely on get. It is highly efficient and beautifully simple. Then there is the verb make. I used to say things like, "I committed a terrible error," which made me sound like I was reading a formal police report. A native speaker just says, "I made a mistake." I used to say, "I generated some income this month." A native speaker simply says, "I made some money." You make a decision. You make a promise. You make time for the people you love. It fits perfectly into the natural rhythm of daily life without any forced effort. Take is another core pillar of this engine. When I was exhausted, I used to proudly declare, "I will rest for a brief duration." Now I know how strange and robotic that sounds to everyday people. A native speaker just says, "I will take a break." Instead of saying, "I will examine the document carefully," they say, "I will take a look." You take a shower. You take a seat. You take your time. Using take instantly strips away all the awkward stiffness from your sentences. Finally, we have go and come. They describe much more than just physical movement. A well-planned situation can suddenly go wrong. A noisy room can go quiet. Instead of saying, "I returned to my residence," you simply say, "I came home." Instead of saying, "I entered the building," you say, "I came in." Seeing this pattern completely changed my entire perspective on language learning. I finally realized that true mastery is not about memorizing 10,000 rare words. True mastery and real advanced English is knowing how to stretch these 5 simple verbs into 10,000 different situations. That is the actual secret engine of fluency. Embracing this hidden engine of simple verbs did more than just fix my grammar. It completely transformed how I felt every single time I opened my mouth. I used to feel an overwhelming wave of anxiety before speaking. My heart would race and my palms would sweat because I was terrified of forgetting a fancy word. But the moment I gave myself permission to use simple English, that heavy pressure vanished. It was like taking off a heavy backpack after a long, exhausting hike. When you use simple words, your brain stops panicking. You stop freezing mid-sentence because the words are right there, ready to be used. You start speaking freely, letting the rhythm of the conversation carry you forward. This creates what I call the fluency flywheel. When your English is simple, you feel confident. Because you feel confident, you speak more often. And speaking more often is the only true, guaranteed path to actual fluency. It is a beautiful, self-sustaining cycle that changes everything. But to keep this cycle spinning, we have to destroy a toxic rule that school burned into our memories. Do you remember your teachers crossing out words in your essays with a red pen, telling you never to repeat the same adjective twice? We were trained to constantly rotate our vocabulary like a walking thesaurus. If we wrote the word good in one sentence, the next sentence had to use excellent, and the next had to say superb. I carried that strict written rule into my spoken English for years, and it completely ruined my natural flow. I thought repeating words was a sign of a weak mind. So, instead of simply saying, "I really like it," I would pause, search my brain in a panic, and awkwardly say, "I find it highly pleasurable." I completely missed the point of human communication. In real, honest conversations, repetition is not a weakness. It is an absolute necessity. Native speakers repeat simple words all the time to build rhythm and to emphasize genuine emotion. They do not try to show off a dictionary. They try to show you their heart. Listen to how someone describes a truly wonderful experience. They do not say, "It was intellectually stimulating." They look you in the eyes, smile, and say, "It was good. It was really, really good. I loved it." There is no complex vocabulary there, but you can instantly feel their raw enthusiasm. When you repeat simple words with authentic emotion, you sound infinitely more natural. You stop fighting your brain, stop worrying about the academic rules, and finally start sharing your true feelings with the world. Sharing those true feelings requires us to fundamentally redefine what we consider to be advanced language. For years, we have been quietly conditioned to believe that simple means beginner, or even worse, that simple means uneducated. I want you to completely abandon that toxic belief today. It takes a real mental toughness, a shift in your daily mindset, to let go of your ego and stop trying to sound like a textbook. From this moment forward, I want you to adopt a new philosophy. If your English is simple, clear, and easy for anyone to understand instantly, then it is strong. If your English flows naturally, without painful hesitation, it is highly advanced. Advanced does not mean complicated. Advanced means using simple tools with incredible flexibility to navigate the messy reality of human life. As we wrap up this journey together, I want to leave you with one deep philosophical question to ask yourself the next time you open your mouth to speak. When you look at someone and speak English, what is your true objective? Are you trying to impress that person with how much vocabulary you have memorized? Or are you trying to connect with them as a human being? If your goal is to impress, you will always feel the crushing weight of perfectionism. You will always be sweating, searching for a bigger word, and feeling like you are not enough. But true fluency is about connection, and human connection is never built on complicated jargon. It is built on honest, clear ideas and shared emotions. When you finally drop the need to sound perfect, you allow your authentic personality to shine through the language. I hope this perspective brings you a massive sense of relief and a burst of fresh motivation. Thank you for walking down this path with me today. Remember, you can absolutely speak more English by using less. Stop fighting your own brain, trust that your simple words are enough, and choose connection over complexity. Until next time, keep speaking, keep learning, and keep unleashing your English. Bye for now. Looking back at everything we have shared today, the ultimate realization is that our daily struggle with English is rarely a problem of intelligence, and it is almost never a problem of memory. It is entirely a psychological battle. For years, we have been carrying the massive, unnecessary burden of trying to sound flawless. We treated conversations like academic exams, trying to sound like a walking dictionary just to impress the people around us. We bought into the illusion that accumulating thousands of complex, difficult words was the only valid way to earn respect. In doing so, we completely forgot the most fundamental truth of human nature. We just want to be understood, and we just want to connect. The moment you stop treating English as a rigid test of your intelligence and start treating it as a simple bridge between two human beings, the heavy anxiety simply melts away. You do not need to build a massive fortress of advanced vocabulary to protect yourself from judgment. You only need to master the simple, everyday tools and use them with absolute clarity and honest emotion. The profound lesson here goes far beyond just learning a second language. It is a lesson in mental discipline and how we choose to present ourselves to the world. We live in a society that constantly pressures us to believe that more is always better. We think we need more complexity, more showing off, and more noise to be valuable. But true confidence and deep mental toughness actually come from stripping all of that away and embracing pure simplicity. It comes from the quiet realization that you are already enough right now with the exact words you already possess. To apply this to your life tomorrow, start by observing your own daily habits. When you sit down to write an email, stop trying to sound overly formal and just write clearly. When you are standing in front of someone trying to speak, stop silently translating massive paragraphs in your head. Take a deep breath. Find the absolute simplest verb you know and just speak your truth. Choose human connection over your own ego. This shift in mindset will not only make you a highly fluent English speaker, but it will also make you a significantly more relaxed and confident person in every area of your life. I would really love to hear about your own experiences with this mindset. What is one simple English word or phrase that you rely on all the time? One that always makes you feel comfortable and safe when you speak? Please take a moment to share it down in the comments below so we can all read through them and learn from each other's experiences. And if this journey helped change your perspective today, please hit that subscribe button. Your support is the true engine that keeps this channel going, and it gives me the exact motivation I need to keep creating these deep, honest videos for you.